Good morning, students. How are you? Once again, I am with you with the remaining part of the chapter. Dear students, as we are studying about international organizations, in this topic we are covering the subtopic United Nations organizations. As we know, this organization is working as an international government. So it is important, this organization is very important to resolve the many disputes and conflicts at international level. In today's topic, we will discuss the remaining part of the chapter. My today's heading is jurisdiction of the UN. As we know that to become a permanent member in Security Council, India was striving hard. A meeting was held in September 2005 to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the United Nations and to review the situation. The leaders in this meeting decided some steps that should be taken to make the UN more relevant in the changing content. Steps include establishment of a human rights council, creation of a democracy fund, an agreement to wind up the trusteeship council, etc. Proposed criteria for new permanent and non-permanent members of the Security Council. A new member to become a new member of UN, it has been suggested it should be to become a member of, as we have discussed earlier, dear students, that to become a member of Security Council, a country should have a major economic power, a major military power, a substantial contributor to the UN budget, a big nation in terms of its population, a nation that respects democracy and human rights, a country that would make the council more representative of the world's diversity in terms of geography, economy, system and culture. We have discussed these points to become a permanent member of Security Council. As I have told you that a meeting was held in 2005 to discuss about that some steps could be taken to reform the UN from its drawbacks. Steps include establishment of Human Rights Commission, Council, and steps to be taken to make UN more relevant in the changing context, like creation of a peace building commission. The question of membership is a serious one. In addition, though, there are more important issues before the world. As the UN completed more than 60 years of its existence, the heads of all the members states met in September 2005 to celebrate the anniversary and once again review the situation. The leaders in this meeting decided that the following steps should be taken to make the UN more relevant in the changing scenario. First of all, creation of a peace building commission. Then acceptance of the responsibility of the international community in case of failures in their national governments to protect their own citizens from atrocities. It means if the government of any country which are the member of United Nations, in these member countries, if any country's government is failed to achieve the target for the people of the country, then UN intervene into it and handle the situation in that case and protect their own citizen from government. Because dear students, sometimes we have studied in class 10th that the government of different countries became autocratic. A democratic government sometimes turn into dictatorship In that situation, an international organization is required to stop the atrocities done by that government to the people of the country. In that situation, UN handle the problems of their countries, their country's internal situation handled by UN. Then again, third one is establishment of a human right council. Fourth, agreements to achieve the millennium development goal. Protest and condemnation of terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. It means terrorism is an international issue which is required to stop on immediate basis. Creation of a democracy fund. An agreement to wind up the trusteeship council. Now, but handling on these issues, there was a problem arises in front of the UN that there are a number of conflicts all over the world. Which one should it intervene, or is it possible to take up the responsibility of every conflict or issue? Similarly, what is the responsibility of the UN in dealing with atrocities? What are the human rights and what should determine the level of human right violation? And all these problems, is UN effective enough to handle all these situations? Now our another topic is India and the UN reforms. India has always supported the restructuring of the United Nations, believes that a strengthened and revitalized UN is desirable in a changing world. The most important demand of India is regarding the restructuring of the Security Council. It supports an increase in the number of both permanent and non-permanent members. India always wanted that the member of Security Council, maybe these are permanent member or non-permanent members, both have to be increased. The number of members should be increased. It also argues that an expanded council with more representative will enjoy greater support in the world community. India itself wishes to be a permanent member in a restructured UN. After reform, India also wishes to become a permanent member. India is the world's largest democracy and the second most populous country of the world after China. The country's economic emergence on the world stage is another factor that perhaps justifies India's claim to a permanent seat in the Security Council. Despite India's wish to be a permanent veto holding member of the UN, some countries question its inclusion because India is facing some internal problems like the relations with Pakistan. So these another member countries question over India's membership. They are concerned about Indo-Pak relations. Apart from it, they fear India's possession of nuclear capabilities. So these are some problems which obstruct the way of India's membership of a Security Council as a permanent member. Now our next heading, India's major concern, as I have discussed, composition of Security Council as it has remained static and General Assembly has expanded considerably. This has harmed the representative character of Security Council. Believe an expanded council will enjoy greater support. India believe that if members should expanded, it will be good for everyone. In 1965, members of Security Council became 11 to 15 in non-permanent member, but number of permanent members remained same. 5 countries are the permanent member of Security Council, as you all know. since then no change in it. Majority of developing countries in UN General Assembly. In UN General Assembly, most of the countries belongs to developing nation. It is also a big problem. So they should also have a role in shaping the decision in Security Council. Because due to the number of majority in UN, the developing countries, it is also a big challenge, because whenever a decision is took place with the help of voting, and majority of developing countries, so always they got the decision in favor of them. Now it is a question, the India's concern about it supports, although India supports increase of permanent and non-permanent members, Security Council should have more developing countries in it. India itself wishes to be a permanent member in the restructured Security Council. India's claim to become a permanent member due to these factors. First, second most populous country, comprising 1/5 population of the world. Largest democracy, participated in all UN initiatives. Long and substantial role in UN's peacekeeping efforts. Economic emergence on the world stage. India has now emerged as a large economic power. Regular financial contribution to UN. India is a big contributor of funds in UN and never faltered on its payment. Symbolic importance, signifies growing importance in world affairs. Advantage in conducting its foreign policy. India's foreign policy due to non-alignment is also very strong. But India faced some challenge to become a permanent member in Security Council because some country oppose, including Pakistan, its inclusion. Why? Second, concerns about its nuclear capabilities. Troubles with Pakistan will make India ineffective as a permanent member. If India included, other powers like some, if they question, other countries question that, उनका ये कहना है कि अगर इंडिया सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल का मेंबर, परमानेंट मेंबर बन सकता है तो वो क्यों नहीं, बिकॉज these countries are also emerging as major economic power like Brazil, Japan, Germany, South Africa may also be considered because those are the continents which do not have any representation in Security Council. Now, the UN is a unipolar world. It is believed by many countries that the reform and restructuring of the UN could help the UN cope up better with the unipolar world, in which the US was the most powerful country. Dear students, bipolar and unipolar here means the world was bipolar when two powers were there, US and USSR. But after the collapse of USSR, now the single power is there, that is United States of America. That is why the world is now known as unipolar. Like all the power concentrated in the hands of US. The US stands as the only superpower after the disintegration of USSR. Hence US power cannot be easily checked. Within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable. As the single largest contributor of the UN, the US has unmatched financial power. US is the largest contributor. And second thing, its head office is also in US, which facilitate its way to become more powerful. The UN is an important body, but without it the world would be worse off. It is important for people to use and support the UN and other international organizations in ways that are consistent with their own interests. Right? With disappearance, as I have told you, that UN with the presence of US become a unipolar world. Not a great balance of the US power, its role has served to bring US the rest of the world its discussions. US sees UN as an organization as serving the purpose in bringing together over 190 nations in dealing with conflict and social and economic development. The rest of world, it provides an arena in which US attitude and policies are modified. UN provides a space within which arguments against US attitude and policies are heard, and compromises and concessions can be shaped. Conclusion is that, dear students, this is the conclusion of the chapter, that although UN is not effective enough to solve all the problem, it is an imperfect body, but without it the world would be worse off. Given the growing connections and links between societies and issues, what we often call interdependence, it is hard to imagine how more than say billion people would live together without an organization such as the UN. Technology promises to increase planetary interdependence, and therefore the importance of the UN will only increase. Peoples and governments will have to find ways of supporting and using the UN and other international organizations in ways that are consistent with their own interest and the interest of the international community more broadly. Dear students, that's all for today's discussion. In next video, I will discuss the remaining part of the chapter and most important agencies of the UN. Till then, take care of yourself. Have a good day.